So we're going to talk about renewing our vows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share a little story of how that night went for us.
Yeah, and just kind of how that came to be. So just backtracking quite a ways. It's interesting when you get out of the Mormon Church. There's a lot of people when they get out of the Mormon Church, and what happens is they most leave. One spouse will leave, and another doesn't. And then every now and then, you kind of get lucky, and everyone reminds you that you're very lucky when both spouses leave the Mormon Church at the same time, because if one stays in and one is out, this is a very wow, like seriously, like hats off to you if you're able to pull that off, because it gets really, really hard when one person has one way of viewing the world and one way of thinking and belief, and the other person isn't down with all that. It'd be hard to raise kids that way too. But some people pull it off, but a lot of people end up getting divorced. And, it's interesting because the Mormons, oftentimes they'll say, well, there's the evidence that the church is true, because when you leave the church, your marriage will fall apart and your life will fall apart. One thing to consider is that if you were married under those confines, if you will, if you were married in that structure with all of that kind of history and conditioning, that's marrying in one context. Now, if you or your spouse leaves the church, it completely abolishes that context, and all of a sudden the context is completely different. You might say, well, yeah, but you love that person. Is that person someone that you really knew, is the question. Were they pretending, is the question. Were they faking what they were, you see? So I would say, like in my first marriage, I would say that I married a very good person, and I feel like I was a good person. But I also feel like that marriage suffered from me not being my true authentic self. And I would say that I've always been able to be more so my true authentic self with Crystal, even as a Mormon. I was able to be more so my true authentic self. But I was never fully able to be my true authentic self, even with Crystal, because of the confines of that religious framework. It's one of the things that I got so excited about when Crystal came to me. It was the craziest thing. Like, I'll never forget it. And you'll hear me in our vows, I'll say, Crystal, you saved me. I had kind of consigned to the fact that I'm stuck in this religion. I'm stuck in it for my life, and I don't like it. I believe it's true, but I don't like it. And I believe it's good for me, but the real me just hates it, hates every bit of it, hates every second of it. And so when Crystal came to me, and I didn't even realize she was kind of investigating the truth claims of the church, and she came to me and she was like, hey, Sean, what if it's not true? I was just like, oh my God, because I had been mentally checked out for so many years, and I just, for a moment there, I just felt like, oh my God, like please, please, please let this be the case, because I knew what I was really like, only because Crystal and I, both of us, we both experienced life outside of the church, and I think that's one way to really find out who you really are. And so I lived without the church for a lot of years in my teens. I didn't go to church. I wasn't interested in the church. You couldn't make me go to churches. So I kind of knew who I was as a person. And we always assign like labels to that. Well, I did drink. Yes, I did try drinking, maybe like 6 times. And I did this, or I did that, or I was violent, or you assign meaning to all those things. But really, that's ridiculous, because all Mormon teenagers and all teenagers overall, they all get into stuff. But I knew who I was, and I knew I was a good person, and other people knew I was a good person too. The Mormon church hijacks your identity. That's what it did to me. It hijacked my identity, and all of a sudden I didn't know who I was anymore. So it's been so amazing and so refreshing to be myself. And I feel like Crystal was the one that kind of gave me the green light and permitted me to do that. It hasn't been easy, but I feel so fortunate that that person, this is the way I explained it to Crystal. If my true self was in there all along, and let's say that was operating at only like 10%, because the Mormon religion really is that suppressive, I believe that 10% of me that was just kind of, holding on, that's what found Crystal. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I believe that about her too, that like if she was operating at 20% or whatever it is, it's her true self and my true self without the religion that was attracted to each other, because our attraction for each other, it didn't change post-religion. It just hasn't changed. In fact, it's gotten stronger and it's become more amazing and
I feel like we just had, over the last 2 years since we left the church, we've had so many breakthroughs in our marriage, and it's been such a cool thing. It hasn't been easy, that like Sean said, I mean, marriage is not easy, no matter how good it might look online. It is not easy, and we've definitely had a lot of struggles over the past couple of years, but it has been such a beautiful experience for both of us to really get to know each other on such a deep level, like of parts of us that we would never really expose to each other because we were afraid that wasn't what we were supposed to be, and of course all conditioning from the church. So it has been so amazing to really reestablish our relationship in a way that feels so open and so much vulnerability, so much honesty. And Sean mentioned a while back, when I think it was about a year ago, you did say we should renew our vows, and I was like, yes, we should, because we were in such this state of like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe we are just now discovering more about each other after 15 years of marriage, and now we're at 16 years, and we kind of wanted to share the story of how it happened, because it looks so glamorous, like the pictures turned out really glamorous, but it's kind of funny how it happened.
Crazy.
We actually had a few big fights and arguments right before. So we were both kind of questioning whether or not we should even do this. We were just getting really frustrated about all these different things, just normal marriage fights. And but then
to be fair, it's been a stressful time with the kids being home with Corona since March. We've had 6 months of children at home. That's been stressful.
Yeah.
We're trying some new dietary things that are pretty stringent. That's been stressful. So there's been lots of, we'll say factors coming in,
Yeah. So
we've been fighting off and on.
A lot, and then
there's been some things said that we're not proud of and that we don't mean, but hurtful things that sting on both of us.
Both sides, yeah.
And so
Crystal, we had this plan, and we kept on saying we probably shouldn't even do this.
No, we didn't keep on saying that. I finally said, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm not doing it, and you could just see it devastated Crystal because she's just like, what? I'm so looking forward to this. This is so meaningful to me. And I'm just like, it's totally inauthentic. I will not renew the vows, and I certainly will not do it. And share that with people because that's not real. We're not being there for each other. We're not tolerating each other and so forth. So it got pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got ugly.
Yeah, and then everything was good, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this, and and then we ended up running really late. We were supposed to be there at sunset, and the location to meet the photographer And it was just gonna be us, like it wasn't like we were gonna make this a big thing and invite a bunch of people.
It was just gonna be intimate by design.
Yeah, and so we were running really late. We showed up almost an hour late because
it was a mess.
We didn't realize how far away it was. We took a wrong turn. Oh my gosh, we ended up running up the mountain. It was like a 10-minute hike. And
no, like in hindsight, we did it in 10, but it was actually probably like 25, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, we were running. I'm running in heels and a dress. And
we were sprinting as fast as we could because the photographer, she was there and she was waiting for us. Bless her heart, Ashley.
Lost cell service, so we couldn't even.
We didn't know where she was. She left a little note on the ground. She's like, "Did you find my note at the start of the trailhead?" And we're like, "No." So we just had to hunt her down. We're like asking all these random strangers, "Have you seen a photographer?" They're like, "Yeah, she's way up there, up the trail, about 45 minutes." We're like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, it was. It was really stressful getting there. I got to the top.
We were fighting a lot. Like Crystal, it was funny because I just read that day. I had read this thing. It was on KSL actually, of all places. This Coach Kim, and she was talking about life, and she was just talking about like how you can have fun with life. So I think that day actually I was in a really good space.
Yeah,
and I was actually
because I was just like so angry driving. I'm like, I can't believe we're late.
I was looking forward to it, and I was like, we're late. We'll get there. We always make it. And I was just in this really good space. Crystal was losing her mind. She was like, just go home. It's over. Just take me home. Take me home. It's not going to work. We blew it. And I just remember I was just like, no, we're going to go and it's going to be great. She's like, it's going to be dark by Yeah, so Crystal she almost bailed. Like she was dead serious and she was angry and she was like spitting all this venom and she's like, it's over. Take me home. We're done. It isn't happening. We're not meant to do this. Take me home. And I was just, and the photographer came from Arizona. So I'm like, no, we're going and it's going to be okay. And I was just like laughing, really. I started laughing because she was that angry. Like she was just spewing toxins and venom and poison at me. Which was funny because literally by the time we got there, Crystal's like, it was hilarious because like she put on her wedding dress and like you could just see like
it was like the dress was magical. It made me feel like a princess. I fell in love again.
Man.
Oh, it was just funny. But then once we started, hugging and getting ready to share our vows with one another, I was just like stars in my eyes.
Yeah,
how could I ever be mad at you?
She got pretty. Crystal got pretty. How would you say that? She was pretty Twitter-pated by the time we got there. The view was very enchanting.
And everything just like washed away, and all my anger washed away, and I was just like so happy, so in love, and it was beautiful the way it ended up, even though it started out really stressful. And I'm so happy that we did that.
And we've been doing. It's been great. It's actually been really good for us to go do that. And it's interesting how many people have said that they're also post-Mormon and they really feel the need to go do that now, because when you get married under those religious confines and that patriarchy, and they kind of lay claim to you, it's not the same feeling. So for us, it was very meaningful, even though it wasn't really. We didn't spend a lot of money. We didn't invite like a big group of people. It wasn't really like that, but it was just very quaint. And for us, it was very romantic and touching and moving and very a lot of depth there and meaning for us, being that we were able to do that outside of any religious confines. And so I would encourage people to do that. And so many people say they really were inspired, and that they want to do that as well. So for that reason alone, I'm really glad that we did it. But the real reason that I'm glad we got to do it is because we've just changed so much. Our marriage has changed so much. we as people have changed so much. Feel so fortunate that we're still together. I really do. I feel so unbelievably fortunate that we're still together. Even though I don't even look at divorce anymore as this horrible thing. I really don't. If anybody's out there and you're divorced or you're going through divorce, I don't look at it as a horrible thing anymore. I don't, but I really do love my wife, and I really am passionate about, you know, what we've created together and you know, the life that we've built. So it's just one of those things, you know, people say that, everybody tells me all the time how lucky I am and how fortunate I am, and count your, you know, your blessings, but really you could go your whole life trying to find someone that you have the right chemistry with. I feel so fortunate to have that with Crystal. So to celebrate that, it was very touching and moving for me.
Well, I loved that I got to wear
oh God, she was gorgeous.
A different kind of dress, because I was never really excited about my Mormon dress for my wedding. Like, I always envisioned this like more glamorous looking like dress, the one that I got to wear, just like that. Like, that was it was kind of nice to fulfill that dream that I never got to have in our first wedding. Yeah.
Sean, you are the one person who knows me the best and loves me the most. As we celebrate our sweet 16 years of marriage and renew our wedding vows, I'm overwhelmed with love and gratitude in my heart for the many beautiful memories and challenges we've overcome together. Thank you for taking such good care of me, financially, physically, and emotionally. You are always concerned about my happiness and well-being, which I love because I need a lot of attention. 2 years ago, we entered into a new marriage with one another. It's been filled with excitement, sorrow, ecstasy, and pain. But we've made it through the fire, still together, and even stronger than before. I promise to never give up on us. I will stand by you and love you for the rest of my life, and in the next life, if the Mormon God will allow it. I promise to always use the auto feature for climate control in the car, and I promise to never use the F word more than twice when I'm mad at you, and I promise to never buy things without checking prices and reviews. But most of all, I promise to love you unconditionally and accept every part of who you are and always see the good in you. I will choose love over fear, accept when I'm wrong, and always strive to grow and improve. In the decades to come, I commit to living life void of judgment and full of love and compassion for you. Our love is passionate, our connection is strong, and my devotion to you will never fade.
Crystal Lynn, as I look back at how we came to be, I can see all of the evidences that we were meant to be with each other. We are a once-in-a-lifetime love, a match made in heaven, soulmates. Over the years, you have become a part of me, by far my favorite part. You've helped me become a better version of myself, for which I am very grateful. It's been painful and slow, and it's required a lot of patience. I'm so proud of what we have built. The children we've born and raised, they're each perfect and absolutely wonderful. They possess all of our best parts. Thank you for them. My God, how we love them. It's a miracle. I don't tell you often enough how fortunate I am to have you in my life. I am so grateful for you. I would never choose anything but you forever. You own my heart, and it is no one else's but yours. It's not what's required of me, it's what I hope for, always. To be with you and to be one is my most favorite thing in the world. You saved me. We suck, by the way. We make everything harder than it has to be, and we always seem to be finding ways to make things hard. Even tonight, we sucked so bad right up until the vow renewal. Yet we are here, and we are doing our very best to make up for our craziness. That's us. All that matters is how much I love you and how fortunate I am to have you in my life. Yeah, we were hiking down that trail, Zion Overlook.
At night, because it was dark.
Yeah, it was pitch black. We were using our cell phones for flashlights, and all of a sudden, Crystal just screamed bloody murder. She almost knocked the photographer off a cliff, literally.
I saw the biggest spider ever. It was a tarantula.
How do you say that?
Tarantula.
Tarantula?
And it was the
Triantula?
creepiest thing. I almost stepped on it bare feet. I was barefoot. I was barefoot because I was wearing heels. So I took my shoes off to hike down, and I almost stepped on this huge tarantula.
It's of a baseball.
It was probably like this big.
We're in this together now. We're in this together now. Give me your love and tell me your secrets. 'Cause we're in this together now.